gray represents the IU's total cost per student.
And the IU are the area school districts up here.
The black line represents student count. The green line represents the average IU student count. Let's look at where our student count is compared to the IU's average and our total cost per student. See the gap every year? So long term, we know we have to come up with a strategic long-term plan. We can't entirely rely on taxes every year. We know that our tax rate is very low compared to other districts. However, long term, we can't entirely rely on our taxes. We also can't afford to provide everything for everyone of every resident. So we have to come up with our priorities. Priority number one, provide a high-quality education. We have to maintain our pupils. Part of maintaining our pupils is extracurriculars. Extracurriculars are proven to impact the students' behavior as well as their academic performance. We have technology upgrades, which we've neglected for the last 10 years. We need the state to provide a budget and also a fair and equitable funding formula for us to adequately project down the road. We need to invest in our buildings and equipment, establish a capital reserve. Our buildings aren't becoming dated. That will cost money to maintain. And lastly, we have to build a fund balance. Our fund balance policy states that we should, within 2 years, be at 8% of our total expenditures. We're only about 5%. So
I'll do this one. So as I mentioned previously, the board has seen this, but the last 3 years, what have we done to make the budget work? We all know what we did with the buildings, right? We closed 2 buildings, elementary buildings, absorbed 2 administrative positions. We have absorbed 23 teaching positions through attrition in the last 2 or 3 years. We've eliminated 6 positions down here in the central office. We eliminated ed assistant and secretary positions. We eliminated 33 coaching aide positions. We eliminated tech integrators and coaches. And as you know, we eliminated the TV, studio, and PR. Our goal at the time, to leave the kids in the programs as much alone as possible and cut everywhere else, starting here first at the Ed Center. What's that look like in programs? What programs
that is a total of 82 positions.
So what have we cut from this district, from what people are used to receiving programmatically? Middle school instructional support advisors, middle school reading specialists, district librarians, driver's ed program, cut field trips, tutoring, and professional development opportunities. Not totally, but we cut back in those. Dropped high school Mandarin, we cut back on supplies, and as Aaron said, we cut back on the technology budget. And what I want to say is, and as I said to Erica today, we cannot continue to cut our way to be the top district. It doesn't work that way. We can't continue in this trend. And as we talked, and as we're going to talk a little bit more about presenting options for next year, there really is no low-lying fruit. We're going up into the heavy stuff. And if it's going to continue to be cut, they're going to be significant. And it's going to compromise us long-term if we continue cutting the way we have.
Mr. Long.
Wait, can we get through this real quick and then we'll do questions? Thank you.
So that leaves us with our options. Our options to balance the budget for this upcoming year. We have option number one. We know that we are at $2.64 million in the red right now. Option number one, raise taxes, which would generate roughly $1.6 million. If we are approved for the exceptions for which we applied, it's about $800,000. We still have to come up with $240,000.
So that's the option one. Raise taxes, go above the index, hopefully we get it. We still got to find $240,000. That's option one, the tax route.
Option number two, raise taxes
To the index.
to the index. We eliminate the alternative education program, that's roughly $809,000. Eliminate the Montessori program, that's roughly $419,000. Leaves us with a surplus of $188,000. Again, I'll go back to our policy of building a fund balance. We do still need to put money away for our fund balance, and our expenditures continue to climb.
So why those 2 programs? The alt ed program right now has a total of probably 14 kids. Okay, so we're looking at programs that affect the least amount of kids. And when you're making a cut, it needs to be a programmatic cut, okay? As I've already mentioned to you folks in an email, that's an easy one. We would be doing that anyway because it's not cost effective. We have options for those kids moving forward, and we've already identified those. The Montessori is sitting at 63 or 5, I believe. We've talked about it the last couple of years. We have to bring it up again. In terms of affecting the least amount of kids, we can find a place for these kids. So those were the two. The two programs, raise taxes to the index, and we're good.
And option number 3, again, you could, we'll keep the alternative education, the Montessori, we have some support staff and administration, which would result in about $326,000. Extracurricular, field trips, supplies, roughly $50,000. Secondary curriculum position as well as refocus room position, $175,000. Eliminate a middle school elective, it's about $213,000. Eliminate the mental health counselors from Sarah Reed, it's about $110,000. We can eliminate the tech lease, that's in the preliminary budget right now, that's roughly $270,000. Adding all those up, you're still short $268,000. So two drastic measures we could look at, as Mr. Hall said, we were really left out of options to cut. Middle school philosophy, that could result in about 18 staff. Or transportation. Transportation would result in about $1.5 million. These are our options that we have left. We really don't have too many options.
Aaron, could you explain what middle school philosophy is? It's not a philosophy class, so can you explain what that means?
I'll do that. Middle school philosophy, one of the strengths of the district is our middle school. We all know our middle school kids do very, very well. The middle school philosophy is a little more staff intensive. It's a teaming concept. So there's a little bit more staff involved with maintaining that philosophy. 2 teams per building, per grade level. You could cut back on that a little bit and find some positions. That's why it's set up to 18. Not something I would recommend.
And our middle schools, my understanding is they are ranked very high in the state.
We were all in the
Their
90s,
performance.
the last SPP scores.
With the middle school philosophy that we have in
Absolutely.
place. Okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to clarify that there has been a lot of success with that.
Yeah, we wanted to say, when we got down to the last 2, it's not really one I want to talk much about because it's drastic. And then you want to start talking about transportation, we can talk about changing the high school schedule and getting creative to save some spots, but then there you go. You're going to dilute your district, you're going to compromise the things that make us great, but that's the no tax option as best as we can. I'm sorry, Mr. Aliotta, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I clicked on this little icon on the budget presentation, and I thought we were going to receive a copy of what you presented.
I didn't finish it till today.
Oh, okay. Will we receive a copy
Of
of
this?
this presentation?
Absolutely.
Okay. Also, going back to, and we all appreciate your cost containment, cost savings. Can you attach a dollar amount to those 2 pages that you cut this staff, you cut that staff? You have to attach a dollar amount whenever you go into a budget presentation, preliminary budget hearings. So I would appreciate, and I don't know whether my colleagues would agree to that, but you have to attach. If there are cost containment issues that you present to both us and also to the public, there should be a dollar amount attached to those cost savings. Thank you.
You're talking about the previous slides where we
Yeah.
kept the programs and the staff?
Yes. Yeah, just
We'll
attach
put
it.
something together for the 21st, we can do that.
Good, thank you.
You just want to anticipate the cost of what that saved.
No, what actually did, could you go back, please, to those?
Tom, are you doing this?
No. Go towards, it's towards the end. Right there,
There you go.
right there.
All right, 2 administrative positions, closing of